Ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be a very fun video, I have no doubt. We are looking at the Gotham Chess Immortal. Now, Gotham Chess is the biggest chess YouTuber in the world at the time of recording. It might change whenever you're watching this in the future. He has over 6 million subscribers, again, as of time of recording. But he's only an international master. Now, in recent months, he has begun his Road to GM series. So it inspired me to start my Road to Glory series here on my channel. And in this Road to GM series that he played a spectacular game of chess where he won. Now, that's not shocking. It's his Gotham Chess Immortal. This is not a perfect game. This isn't like the Magnus Carlsen Immortal, the Paul Morphy Immortal, which I've dubbed the Opera Game. Well, I didn't dub it the Opera Game. It's called the Opera Game, and I'm calling it the Paul Morphy Immortal. It's not a perfect game of chess. It's not flawless, but it does show just how good he is, and it does show all of his strengths. And with that said, let's get into it. You can't see the players, and I'm not worried about the time, but it is Gotham Chess Levy Rozman with the white pieces against Klendi Zeleni, a candidate master from Albania, and he's got the black pieces. So, Gotham Chess, he is renowned for d4, c4, and that is what he plays. Online, he plays lots of e4 as well. So he can really play a lot of stuff. And he starts this game with knight f3, which is a bit different. He doesn't normally play the Reti. We get d5, the most principled response, and g3. And this is the system he elects to go with. He could, of course, transition into various queen's gambits. And we get g6, bishop g2, bishop g7. So the play is very symmetrical. In fact, so symmetrical after d4. Now c6, short castles. Knight f6, a4, a5. a4 looks to take space on the queen side, and you want to kind of push these pawns. Because you're going to help your bishop along the way. So you're trying to weaken the queen side and cause play for your bishop and allow it to have pressure. And now c4, the most natural response. This looks like a gambit of a pawn, but you will be opening your bishop. That's why c6 was also played, and not knight to c6. Now d takes c4, and now knight to a3. This is a very common idea, particularly in Catalan structures. And now we get castles, and we take the knight back. And now here we get knight to e4, which makes sense from the black's point of view. You're jumping your knight into the center, you're opening up your dark squared bishop, which, if it ever gets to put pressure on this pawn, really hampers the development of the bishop on c1. So we get queen to c2, targeting the knight. And now, a very interesting move. You might say, whoa, I saw the evaluation drop. Because it prefers knight f e5. That's what it prefers, knight f e5, putting your knight in the center. There's no real way to extract it, so this was perhaps a move he could have considered if he did not. I don't recall, but you can watch his video about this game. It is in his playlist. Queen to c2. Knight to d6. Very interesting move. Definitely, but there's no way to really defend your knight, because if you come up with a move like bishop here, well, now you kind of run into there's queen b3 going that way, and there's also g4, which is crazy. And then if takes, you live and you learn. Okay, so the knight drops back, and now we get b3, which is insanely brave, because that bishop sees that rook. The bishop does come to f5. We play queen d2. The bishop drops back. Now queen here, which is not the best move. The best move here is to develop your rook, say rook d1, or to take on knight takes d6. These are the moves you should be considering, or rook b1, getting out of this way. Queen d3 is a bit much. Knight to a6 comes in now, and now we play bishop to a3, just developing the bishop, getting it onto a beneficial diagonal. Knight b4 hits the queen, and we take. We remove that knight. We won our queen there, and that's good stuff. Now the bishop drops back. Not the bishop, the knight drops back. Knight to f5, putting pressure on the d4 pawn. And now we just defend with e3, the best move. Now c5, striking at that, because remember, this is pinned. This is the problem that you occurred to. You can't take because, pin. So we play g4. He finds this idea now. And then we get knight to d6, and now we can take. But we hang our rook. This is why I love this game. He correctly calculates d takes c5 is the best move. Because although you lose your rook, you can play rook takes a1, and after knight to c8, you can play queen e4. The best move, and white's got advantage. White is down a rook, well, down the exchange, but is better. That's the best thing. They're like +1 if black plays the best move. Bishop d5 is the best move, and we take this pawn. And you have got 3 on 1 here. You've got 3 on 1. And that is a serious problem for black. The queenside pawns will roll, and your rook on f8 is not felt at all. You are going to feel white's pieces, and knight to a7 is not it, and we get e4, which is a mistake. And this is why I picked this game. It's not perfect, but it is good enough. Now, here the best move, according to the engine, is to play queen to c3. Knight c4 is also fine, as is queen a3. It wants these moves to be played. e4 is, it's okay, but it loses a bit of advantage for one move only, and it's not found. The best move here, and why e4 is overlooked, is because now you get knight to c6, coming in with a tempo on the queen. And the best move here is to play queen takes b7, rook b8, queen a6, and knight b4. The bishop is left to hang. Alright, you're still attacking the queen. Now you have queen to e2. And now we get something like bishop to e6. And now you've planted this black knight here. You've kicked the queen around. And this is a better coordination for black's pieces, despite white still being up material. That's a very long line, but it gets missed, so don't worry about it. And now we get queen to c3, which is one of the best moves. And now queen c7, a mistake from his opponent. Knight e5, a miss. It's a miss, but it's not a bad move. Knight e5 is a logical move. The best move here is b4. h3 is also looking to secure this pawn. And bishop f1 to get control of this diagonal is also something you can consider. But knight e5, it's okay. It loses a little bit of advantage. Rook fd8, a mistake. The engine is super critical of these players, but they're not doing anything that wrong. The best move is something that I don't think any human on the planet plays, and that's bishop e8. Bishop e8 is the best move. Explain. You can't. I mean, I suppose the idea is to go here and put pressure, and then if this, like b5, I suppose that's the idea. But rook fd8, rook fd8 gets played, and now knight ec4. The better move is to play maybe like knight d to f3, to play g5, and get the queen and swing the queen round. These are considered slightly better. Knight ce4 is no good. Again, for only one move. That really keeps the advantage close to level, and that is queen d7, which, as you can see, is not found, and it targets that pawn. That's why it needed to be pushed or defended a long time ago. But that doesn't get found. Instead, we get queen to f4, which is fine, and now starts really putting pressure on black, because this white king is not safe. The pawns around it are not safe. Levy's position is holding on by a thread. And here he calculates he can play h3, rook d7, and he can drop his knight back to e3. It's a mistake. The best move in this position is to play rook to a2, defending the knight, getting as many defending pieces as you can. It's got nowhere to go. Instead, he plays knight e3, and now rook a d8, and now you play rook a2, and it's not good enough. Rook d3 hits the queen. It's forced to move, and now rook 8 d7. You might say, wait, hang on, isn't this a free knight? Isn't this a free knight? I mean, not really. That's a free knight as well. Yeah, you don't want to go into this, I'm afraid. You're gonna lose. So, you can't have that. So, we jump our knight into the center. Takes, which is a mistake. You should not take the knight. You should instead play queen g5. And now have pressure on this. Continue your pressure on this. And in the future, you've got this, but you've also got that and that. Bishop takes d5 is no good. Knight c6, a very fascinating move. So the best move to play is not bishop takes d5, because takes. Knight c6 is a very interesting idea, again, we discussed, and it happens. It happens. And Levy correctly calculates that he can play queen takes d2. Brilliant move. Queen takes d2 and cb7. And he is better. And black has one move to try and hold advantage, and that is to play queen e1 check. Queen e1, bishop f1 is the line of the engine, and as you can see, the bar starts to fall down. Queen e1 check. For some reason here it's +1. You play the top engine move, but unfortunately his opponent queen d1 check. King here. The queen goes all the way back to stop promotion. We play b4. No, the wrong pawn. You've got to get a pawn to support this, right? So you've got, 3 choices. You've got to play a5 and let this pawn go all the way. That's what you need to choose. Instead he plays b4, and now we get f5. You've got to open the white king to try and get a perpetual, and now a5, and now a5. Queen b8 check though. The pawn is still defended, but now we crack in towards the white king, and queen e5, a mistake from his opponent, because you can play b5. You can't take this because promotion, and these pawns have to be stopped, but how? b5 here, and Levy wins. b5. Instead he plays a6, which is still fine, it's still winning. But queen e1 check. King h2, queen e5, king g1 is just a draw, queen e1, and king h2, and now it's a draw. Queen e5 check, he plays king h3, h5, a mistake. Because you play a7. But now you've got h takes g4 check, king g4. Queen f5 check, and it's surely a draw. There's a perpetual here somewhere. Queen e3, queen e3 is a miss. The only move here to hold the draw is queen e1. Queen e1 is the only drawing mechanism. Queen e3 played though, and now you block with the bishop, and now check, and you move the king. Check, block. There are no more checks. You've got queen d3, and the king survives, and Levy Rozman wins this game. He wins this game. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you, he had this position on the board. This was the position he had on the board after he played the brilliant queen takes d2. And this just shows you Levy. He sometimes complains that his calculations are not good enough, but when you can calculate this and this to play bishop versus queen and have all of these pawns. Just by the way, look at the journey of that pawn. That pawn was like an e-pawn. It captured here, it captured here, it captured here, and eventually it would have promoted. It wins him the game. The e-pawn that became a b-pawn wins him the game, and he had a very good tournament, and this just shows you Levy Rozman. A mix of some really interesting openings. This is not a system he normally plays, but dynamic ideas, always looking to complicate the position and play with the initiative. Enjoys the initiative. Got his queen kicked around a bit. Sacked his rook. I'll remind you, he sacrificed his rook. Because he is Gotham Chess and he sacrifices the rook. Doesn't trade queens. Keeps the queens on the board. Wins a pawn. Kicks out the bishop. And just plays fluently. It's not always the best moves, but it's good ideas. It's attacking ideas. And he is able to generate attacking play like no one else. Calculates that he can take the knight, lose his knight, and be in time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, mate is threatened. So he only has queen takes d7. Queen d2 here. And from here, he escaped because he put his opponent in an untenable position. Even though the engine said it was a draw, humanly it's not a draw. His king escapes and he wins the game. This was the Gotham Chess Immortal game.